Hi, folks. There's something that I've been meaning to talk about when it comes to the issues that I talk about that relate to South Africa. I mean, everyone who watches or follows my channel knows that I mostly talk about issues in the United States and issues in South Africa, my home country. And so, and subsequently, my viewers are uh, mostly Americans and South Africans. There is people who are not American or South African are less than 20% of my viewers. But so when I talk about South Africa and South African politics in particular, what I noticed a certain pattern emerging because there's always a lot of explosive things that are happening in South Africa that needs to be discussed, and I have very unique opinions in some aspects. I suppose some of my opinions are not really unique. None of us can really say we are original or anything. I don't mean to say I'm original or anything. But my views don't really fit firmly in the camps that I found to exist in South Africa. Yeah, so whether I'm speaking with mostly black South Africans or mostly white South Africans, my views don't generally fit nicely. Because people want you to fit in these nice little boxes that they can easily explain, or you are for us or you are against us, sort of thing. But I just wanted to talk about the pattern that I've seen emerge because I often criticize the two biggest political parties in South Africa, which is the African National Congress or the ANC or the Democratic Alliance, which is the DA. These are the two largest political parties. And subsequently, these are parties which, on one side, the ANC is a black party, and the second party is a white party. If you're not South African, you might not get what I mean. But that's just a fact. So what I found, for instance, is that when I criticize the ANC, and I think I've put in more videos criticizing the ANC than I've put criticizing the DA. But when I criticize the ANC, what I do find to happen is that a lot of white South Africans come to my video and they comment, and often, sometimes, not always, not all the comments, by the way, but a lot of the videos tend to assume that because I don't like the NC, which I don't, therefore it is okay for them to come onto my video and be racist. I find it to be the most bizarre thing. um People come here, and because people feel like, because when people think like, okay, I'm in a safe space, I can say what I feel, and then they just come and they are just openly racist because they assume that because I don't like the ANC, therefore it might means that this might be a safe space for them to say racist things. And then now I have to go and 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 challenge that comment because this person is being racist. I think there's one particular individual where I actually told them that you are being racist, because even though I don't like to throw around racism accusations willy nilly and just carelessly, we have too much of that crap. I don't want any of that crap here. But sometimes I have to come out and tell someone who is commenting in my video, someone who is agreeing with the video I'm making, that you are being racist, because they think that because I disagree with the ANC and I'm criticizing the multitude of failures of the ANC, that it is a safe environment for them to come here and be racist. Also, what I found to be quite interesting is when I made a video, because I said earlier that the DA is a white party, the African National Congress is a black party. I made a video stating that white South Africans vote on race primarily, not on policy. And in that same video, I also stated that black South Africans vote primarily on race, not on policy. And the most interesting thing that I noticed whenever whenever I say things like that, or even when I say that the DA is a white party, is that white South Africans come in strongly to say yes, the ANC is a black party, but the DA is not a white party. How does that logic work? Like, how does it work? Because for instance, when I say that the ANC is a black party, and when I say that the DA is a white party, I give reasons for it. And I'm not saying that it should be so, but I do give reasons for it. I said the DA and the Freedom Front Plus are white parties. I give concrete logical reasons for it. You can disagree with the logic, and we can debate, and we can have a respectful disagreement about it, but I do give reasons for it. But when you say to me that yes, the ANC is a black party, but the DA is not a white party, and you are not giving any rational reasons why the DA is not a white party, it seems to me that you just imply that just because you like the DA, therefore the DA must be a party for everyone. But also, it is very suspicious. It is very, and as I said, I don't like to accuse people of racism carelessly, but it is very, very suspicious, because often the people who say that they are white, obviously I can see your name and surname. It is a white surname, Van der Merwe, Van Niekerk, or whatever. You are definitely white. I can also see your photo. You are white. So it is very suspicious in terms of there is a certain level of self-awareness that is there. I don't know if people get what I'm saying. There is a method to this madness. There is a certain level of self-awareness. Self-awareness. That because you assume that just because you hold a particular position, your position is not influenced by race. But you at the same breath, you assume that the people who hold a certain position are definitely influenced by race. That logic is very, very suspect. But also with that said, like, I mean, I've had some, I mean, black folks who came here and were unhappy, for instance, that I was saying vote for the Democratic Alliance on local government, and we had a respectful um, uh, to and fro. This is to say, a respectful disagreement or debate. But what I would say, though, that most black South Africans who watch my videos are more moderate and more sensible. I wouldn't. There's not a lot of extreme black South Africans who watch my videos, mostly because my videos aren't targeted towards the extreme and fringe elements of politics South Africa. So the black folks who would ordinarily gravitate to my video would have a lot more temperate views, because they are dissatisfied with almost everything in South African politics, and the a lot of it is based on they're not happy with the ANC, they're not happy with the DA, they're not happy with the EFF, they're not happy with the MK, they're not happy with. So I would say that they are more like me than unlike me, if that makes sense. Yeah, but what I find, I mean, if you want to find like purely ideological and like explosive and confrontational race baiting content, you won't find it in my channel. So, or, or anti-capitalism, anti-white, on any of that stuff, you won't find it here. So, so most blacks then who are here are not like that. But what I do find, though, with white South Africans who watch my videos is that they assume there are two assumptions. They assume that because you are black, you support the ANC, and then when they see that you don't support the ANC, they assume that they can say racist stuff. It's it's actually quite interesting. It's very quite interesting, and I've been all over the world, and witness all kinds of white people, and white South Africans are not like most white people that I've met in the world. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. Yeah, but I just wanted to make this video to make these observations, as to say, folks. Oh, also another observation that I observed is that when I make a video that criticizes the Democratic Alliance, actually what happens is that immediately after that video goes live, I start losing followers. Yep. Yep. A couple of followers. Yep. I think every time I've uploaded a video that criticizes the Democratic Alliance, I've lost a couple of followers. That day and the following days. And I noticed that. And I find it very interesting. I find it very interesting, actually. Um, and I've even said in a video in the past that as a South African, I'm within my right to praise or criticize any political party or any political personality. The question that I often ask is that why can't I criticize the Democratic Alliance? Please give me a rational explanation of why the Democratic Alliance is beyond criticism. Why? When I'm criticizing everyone else, you are liking, you are commenting, you are saying, yay, you go, patriot. When I'm criticizing the Democratic Alliance, all of a sudden there's a big problem. Not just that you disagree, because I mean you're free to disagree. We're all are free to disagree. There is a big problem to the point of like I'm committing treason. Please explain to me rationally, how does that work? And the last observation that I would like to point out now, sorry, because I'm remembering other things now. I thought the last one was the last one. When I make a video that criticizes the Democratic Alliance, why can't we discuss the Democratic Alliance without you mentioning the ANC and the EFF and the MK? Why? Because when the topic of discussion is the Democratic Alliance, and we are assessing the Democratic Alliance on its merits, why can't we keep the conversation on the Democratic Alliance? Why do you always have to mention the ANC, the EFF, and the MK? Why? Why? Because when I'm criticizing the ANC, none of you in your concurrence and agreement mention other parties. You just focus your comment on the comments below on the issue that is at hand, which is the ANC. But when I'm criticizing the Democratic Alliance, you have to always make a contrast with the EFF and the ANC and the MK. Why? These things are very important because all of us, we need to be exposed to ourselves. And the only way you can be exposed to yourself is when people tell you that this is how you are showing up. This is how you are showing up. Do you understand the attitudes and the beliefs that you might hold because of how you are showing up? So if you are living in a bubble, in a community where all of your biases and prejudices don't get to be challenged, then you can actually go through entire life without having self-awareness. This is why having a platform like this, where we are in a YouTube channel with people who are all over the world and who are in Texas, who are wherever they are, down the road in Dallas, or who are in Potchefstroom, South Africa, we are able to actually have our attitudes and our beliefs and our underlying assumptions about the world be challenged. So which is what this is like, putting a mirror in front of us and say, look at your belief system, look at your worldview, and see that Are there any things in the way that you are thinking that needs to fundamentally be relooked and changed? That's really the purpose of this. Not the purpose here is not to point to say you are racist or you are white supremacist. I don't have time for any of that foolishness, guys. I really like. We can have constructive criticism of each other, and make each other better without going down this "you are racist" crap. Like I don't have energy of all that bullshit. No, no, no. But let me know what you think, your thoughts, your comments, your disagreements. Keep it cool, keep it respectful, keep it cordial in the comments below. Peace.